In Seattle, Travis, sounds like it happened. He's Representative Walter Hudson, and we absolutely do love having him on the show. Would you, trap question quick right away, so let's start with that. Would you consider yourself a bit of a flamethrower? You seem to be in the heat of the battle at all times. You're probably one of the faces of those that will stand up and not care what anybody else says.
Yeah, I mostly agree with that. I don't know that characterizing. I mean, I've accepted the label of flamethrower.
Okay, but not your intent.
Well, my intent is to tell the truth, and my intent is to stand for what I know is right.
And that bothers a lot of people. You know,
bothers a lot of people. Yeah, exactly. You're supposed to be. This is Minnesota. You're supposed to be apologetic when you give your opinion. You know, especially if it's
so true.
Mainstream.
That's so true. Here's what I'd like is your opinion, because we've had a very interesting 2025. And when 2025 started with, of course, the session starting 3 weeks late, you and the Republicans are going to work. And I just remember the big, huge, ugly guy dressed as a woman with a megaphone screaming at you right in your face. And no one do anything, like 35, 40 minutes an hour, whatever. I mean, literally over the top, in my opinion. You know, I'm watching. And I think to myself, of all the people, then you have the shootings of the Hortmans and the Hoffmans, and everybody's talking about, we got to do something about the Capitol now. You know, it's you. And, sir, if you can see this, this is the rubber door wedge that we use to keep the studio door open when it's too warm. I believe this cost this organization $1.99. Some naked guy was able to use one of these artfully crafted wedges and got in the Capitol. Are you not, and I pick on you in that nut jobs find out those that, you know, stick out. This is all he needed. This was how you break into the Capitol. How mad were you? You've seen friends get shot, people in, you know, this is it. Tell me how mad you were. That can't be how you break into the Capitol of Minnesota.
I'm reluctant to express the full extent of my disappointment.
Keep in mind it's in radio, but I want to hear a little of the fire. I can't even imagine after 6 weeks after people are shot, and they're talking about let's get rid of the guns at the Capitol, this sort of thing. They're not even closing the door.
Yeah. Well, listen, we have good people working in the Sergeant at Arms office. We have good people working in Capitol Security, and of course the State Patrol is fantastic. The problem, as I see it, is administrative, and it has to do with the same reluctance to prosecute that we see in St. Paul and Minneapolis. I mean, Ramsey County, Hennepin County, these are the jurisdictions that we're talking about here. That act that you spoke of to start off with at the beginning of session, where a group of thugs took over a committee hearing room, and that was a felony. You say they crossed the line. Yeah, the line is the law. That was a felony. It is a felony to disrupt the legislature. Nobody was arrested for it. Nobody was charged with that. Nobody's in prison for it. This guy was caught and released twice, as I understand it.
Yep.
That's the problem. It's not the physical security. It's not that we don't have metal detectors. It's not that we allow lawful permit holders to carry guns in the Capitol. None of that is the problem. The problem is that we do not enforce the law.
And even though common sense, let me throw this at you. And I know I'm going to say this wrong, and mental health professionals hate me. How far off level do you have to be to get a night in a room somewhere? This guy's naked, having washed in the women's restroom, naked, sitting on the Senate chamber president's desk, saying he's the governor. You bring him to Regents, and like, seems fine by me. What is it? Who got into that last bed that wasn't this guy?
Well, listen, this is going to be controversial, but I believe it was Reagan who actually, it was either Nixon or Reagan who actually took us away from the old style mental health institutions where we would commit people for obviously insane conduct. And and again, the priority there is, do you want to help that person? Is that person worthy of care, mental health care? Of course they are. But the larger concern is the safety of the public, right? If somebody's acting irrationally in a manner that results not even in physical danger, but the disruption of order. Like our society has gotten to a point where we apparently don't value order at all.
Well,
Instead, we value the minority status or the mentally disabled status of the person more than the safety and well-being of society. It's absolutely insane, and the pendulum needs to swing back in the other direction.
and I don't know if we don't have a judge that's up all night long someplace in Minneapolis, St. Paul. You're the overnight judge. Get this guy, says judge. He's naked. He's in the Capitol. He's saying he's the governor. We just want to put, maybe he's on drugs, maybe not. I don't have any idea. That he doesn't seem to harm to himself, but we'd like to keep him overnight in the jail. The door will be locked, but we'll feed him. He can get out. He isn't arrested, but let him sleep it off. You remember the old Andy Griffith show where Otis would get so tanked, he'd just go in jail and let him sit. Then he'd wake up the next morning and say, hey, how you doing? Well, thanks for not telling me. You know, some common sense. He doesn't need to be jailed. Maybe not. Maybe he's not harmed anybody. What if this guy thought all of a sudden, well, now I'm a principal of a school, and he goes naked sitting in the school with kids? Yeah. There's just got to be something better, and obviously we don't have better, which is, it's crazy to me.
We could, like I say, it's not a matter of law. Like the law is solid on this. Yep. It's a matter of prosecution. It's a matter of administration of the, I'm sure, and I don't want to speak on behalf of any of these officers or our sergeant at arms staff or state troopers or anything like that. But I have to imagine that the problem is not their willingness to do something.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. So
let's go back to the Capitol, though, just for a moment, because I don't know what I dream the security is. I almost like it's like a very fancy library or something where there's some guy overnight wandering the halls in circles all night long, just making sure everything's safe. I guess that's what I imagine. It doesn't have to be a Mission Impossible thing with Tom, jumping down and stopping before going through rays. And I don't need that. But the fact that a guy with, I presume if this didn't work, a piece of duct tape over that spot will keep it closed. We have to have more than that. And I say this for you guys. I want more than that. This guy gets in at midnight. Now you don't know who's in the Capitol when you guys show up at 8 a.m. We need more. Is that fair? Or better?
It's very fair. And listen, having a personal background in security myself, I mean, that's what I did for the first part of my adult life for work. There's these things called door checks. They're real simple. You just walk around and check the doors, make sure they're locked.
This is the minimum. So somebody's job, hey, close the door, Bob, on your way out. Is that what we're going with, the honor system? Or does some guy at 5 o'clock, whatever time the Capitol closes, takes a meander around the Capitol building, one big walk, you'll be in shape by the end of the year, and just check?